Hey everyone, and welcome to the VoxStar Pulse. It's April 19th, 2026, and we're diving into the 10 stories you absolutely need to know. Today, we're going to see how a huge science award, a TENS meeting in the White House, and a wild discovery inside our own bodies are all, believe it or not, connected. All right, let's get into it. So, we're going to connect the dots between some incredible scientific breakthroughs, some really high level global politics, and the amazing kind of quiet forces of the natural world. First up, we're starting with a story that everyone is calling the Oscars of science. Okay, so our first stop is Santa Monica. This is where some of the most brilliant minds on the planet just got together for something called the Breakthrough Prizes. And look, this is way more than just another award show. It's become this huge cultural moment where we get to celebrate pure genius level thinking. And the stakes, they're huge. We're talking a staggering $3 million awarded to researchers who are literally cracking the biggest codes of life and the universe. What's really interesting here is that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was there, talking about how AI is just speeding everything up, helping scientists find new cures faster than we ever thought possible. Okay, and with that jolt of thinking about the future, we're going to pivot from celebrating new discoveries to trying to manage a global crisis. So at the same time, over in Washington, President Trump called a late-night emergency meeting in the White House Situation Room. And the topic? Growing tension over global shipping lanes. You've got this major diplomatic deadline just around the corner, and the stability of the entire world's highway of trade is kind of hanging in the balance. This is a super high-stakes chess match with massive consequences for the global economy. And just like that, we're going to shift our focus again. This time from the world stage to the microscopic one, deep inside our own bodies. Okay, you have to hear about this. Scientists have just figured out a mystery happening inside our own cells. It's called mitochondrial pearling, and it's this amazing process where our cellular power plants, the mitochondria, change into these tiny bead-like strings. Now, this isn't random at all. It's like a perfectly choreographed dance to make sure they're all spaced out just right. Think of them like tiny traffic controllers, keeping everything running and keeping our bodies energized. So cool. You know, that discovery of how things organize themselves inside us, it actually connects perfectly to our next story, which is all about a hidden natural system, but on a planetary scale. Way, way down, deep beneath the ocean's surface, scientists have found these huge pockets of methane gas, and they're trapped just below the seafloor. The big worry is that as our oceans get warmer, this really potent greenhouse gas could get released. So right now, researchers are basically in a race against time to understand what's happening and figure out how to keep all that methane locked away safely. All right, and now for a completely different kind of explosion. This one happened on a baseball field. From the deep sea to the roar of a crowd at a baseball game, Garrett Ulamette, who plays for the Corpus Christi Hooks, he delivered a moment of pure magic, a massive grand slam. For anyone who doesn't really follow baseball, a grand slam is the ultimate game changer. The bases are loaded, you get one swing, and bam, 4 runs are on the board. It's that kind of all-or-nothing play that makes sports so thrilling to watch. From the crack of a bat to a rumble on a cosmic scale, our perspective is about to get a whole lot bigger. So, leaving our world behind for a second, a huge international study just confirmed something pretty startling. The universe is expanding way faster than any of our old models predicted. And this isn't just, a minor tweak. It's a discovery that points to a pretty big gap in how we understand the universe. It's an exciting new puzzle for the next generation of astronomers to figure out. And that idea of a giant community of astronomers, well, it brings us right back down to a community right here on Earth. Back on solid ground, an absolutely massive book club is taking over the entire West Coast. It's called the One Book, One Coast Initiative, and it's bringing libraries and readers all together to share one single story. George Takei's incredible graphic memoir, They Called Us Enemy. It's just such a powerful reminder of how a shared story can build empathy, start conversations, and bring an entire community together. And speaking of one group succeeding together, let's turn to another flawless performance, this time on the softball field. And now for what was basically a masterclass in how to play softball. DePaul University put on a flawless performance, shutting out Seton Hall 6-0. The star of the show was their pitcher, Kelly Green, who was just untouchable. A shutout is one of the most impressive things you can do in sports, and honestly, DePaul made it look easy.
That performance kind of sparks our next topic before the recap, how education itself is changing.
So, in the world of education, AI tutors are becoming more and more common. But it's really important to know their purpose isn't just to spit out the answers. The real goal is personalized learning, being able to tailor the speed and the style of teaching to each individual student. The AI is meant to be a helpful tool, a guide to help students think for themselves and really understand the material on a deeper level.
And before we dive into our wrap-up, just one last thought on how to refresh our own internal processors. Finally, with spring break right around the corner, it's a good time to remember the science behind actually taking a break. It doesn't matter if you're traveling or just staying home, stepping away from your screen and getting some fresh air can have a huge impact on how well your brain works. Scientists have actually shown that even a short break in nature can totally reboot your focus and boost your creativity.
All right, wow, we have covered a lot of ground. How about a quick rewind? Let's do a little knowledge check and see what you remember from today's stories. No pressure.
First up, what was that big event in Santa Monica celebrating the best in science? That was the Breakthrough Prizes. Okay, next, what's that incredible self-organizing thing our mitochondria do? They call that mitochondrial pearling. For all you sports fans, who is the player that hit that amazing grand slam for the Corpus Christi Hooks? The answer is Garrett Gillimet.
And what's the book that's uniting communities all up and down the West Coast? That's right, it's They Called Us Enemy by George Takei.
And let's bring it all the way back to the beginning. What's the name of those $3 million awards that are pushing science forward? You got it, it's the Breakthrough Prizes. So there you have it. From the very frontiers of science to the tricky world of global politics, we've seen just how connected everything really is. The breakthroughs we celebrate today are shaping the world we'll live in tomorrow, but they also show us just how much we still have to learn. And if you want to know more, our deep dive episode is all about how those science breakthroughs actually happen. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. As we keep pushing what we know, what new mysteries are we going to uncover next? Thanks so much for hanging out with us on The Pulse. We'll see you tomorrow.